Now, there was a story in Michigan where an individual was about to be evicted, and a court worker and two police officers went to the house to evict the man, and all three of them were shot. Now, one of the officers survived, and the suspect was taken into custody. And I Googled this story to find more details about it. And when I did, I was surprised at the amount of stories that were similar and the frequency of which this is occurring. Just looking at the house. If you're renting this type of house, you're living above your means. You can step down, regardless of whether you have a family or not. You can leave this residence and go somewhere smaller and pay a lot less. So in many cases, we've got to get the mind right. You have to have the right financial mind in order to stay out of debt. And this is Missouri, folks. This isn't an expensive state like California or New York. So if we're seeing people buckle in these less expensive Midwest states, my goodness, what's happening on the East Coast? What's happening on the West Coast in some of these more expensive areas? And it just shows you where America is headed. We're headed down, folks. They're willing to take lives just to keep a roof over their head. And I implore all of you to do a Google search of eviction shootings and see how many are coming up, because it's a lot. And that just shows the despair that's happening across this country. And supposedly right now, these are the good times financially. What happens when this thing gets worse? What happens when this economy gets worse? These type of incidents, they're going to happen even more so than they're happening now. So we're in big trouble, folks. And we're seeing every day where thousands of people, they're getting the pink slip. And your coworker who just got canned, they can be the next story. They could be tomorrow's story that might be similar to this. So America, we're just in an unhealthy time. Now, 53% of U.S. workers feel that their paychecks are not keeping up with inflation. And that sounds about right. In fact, that number might be too small because so many Americans are just getting by. And all it takes is one flat tire or one medical incident to set someone back 6 months. And if 53% of Americans are feeling that way right now, while the economy is supposedly doing financially well, what happens when this economy sours? What happens if gasoline prices go up $1? That 53% is going to end up being 83%. Now, gasoline in the spot market is up 25 cents in the last month. And as we go into the spring and summer driving season, it wouldn't surprise me if gasoline rose 50 to 75 cents more than where it is now. And what's that going to do for consumers? Well, it's going to end up being a gut punch, because if they're spending more money at the pump, they're going to be spending less money elsewhere. And this economy is already showing signs of slowing. Now, I don't want to get too financially technical, but looking at the dollar index and where it's at, and looking at the price of commodities, the dollar index and the strength of the dollar has a lot of room to fall. Now, I'm not saying it's going to fall, but I'm looking at the price of commodities. And if that dollar index at some point begins going lower, commodities and oil, they're going to strengthen. They're going to go higher. And if we already have oil at $80 now in relation to where the dollar index is, we're going to be in trouble, folks. Now, I gave my prediction of $90 to $100 a barrel for oil this year, but that might be a bit conservative. I could see oil over $140 a barrel sometime within the next 2 years. And what would that mean for the economy, for the consumer? That would be an absolute body blow, a knockout blow. Because gasoline, all it has to do is rise another dollar, $1.50. And that's going to put a lot of people out of work, a lot of people on the streets. And that's all it's going to take for this country is one more bout of inflation that we had 2 years ago. And that's going to be it. There will be no coming back for America. Now, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.